and girls. I'm so excited to see you back again. In case we don't know each other, in case we're going to be new friends, I'm Miss Carrie, and I can't wait to get to know you too. And for the rest of you, I missed you so much. Did you have a good time over the holidays with your family? Did you eat lots of good food and make lots of good memories with each other? I hope so. And now it's a brand new year. Can you believe it? And New Year's are good for doing new things. They're good for learning how to do new skills. Maybe this year you might learn how to ride a bike, or you might learn how to hop on one foot. Can you do that? How long can you hop on one foot? And I'm really excited to spend this year sharing some brand new stories and some new songs with you. Are you looking forward to that too? Let's go ahead and get started, shall we? Are you ready? Clap your hands if you love stories. Clap your hands, I know you do. I'm so glad that we could be together. Glad to share a story time with you. So, have you made lots of plans for this new year? Do you have things in mind that you are looking forward to have happening, and you're planning them out step by step as to how you think they're going to happen? The first story we have today is about how sometimes you need to be a little careful with your planning. You see, once upon a time, there was a milkmaid. That's someone who lives on a farm where they milk cows, and that's how they make their living. And anyway, this milkmaid had been out in the fields milking the cows all day, and she had a full, we'll pretend this is a bucket, bucket of milk. And she was taking it back to her house, and she carried it on her head. Like that. And as she walked, she thought about what she was going to do with all of that milk. She said, this is very, very good milk, and it's going to give me lots of cream that I can churn to make butter. Very, very good butter, the best butter. And with that butter, I am going to be able to sell it and make money with which I can buy eggs. Uh-oh, careful. I can buy so many eggs with the amount of money that the butter will make me. And I'll take those eggs home and I will hatch them. And before long, I'll have an entire barnyard full of chickens. And won't that be a fine thing? And I'll be able to raise those chickens until they're grown. And then I'll be able to sell all of those chickens and make even more money. Won't that be fine? And with that money, I'll be able to go and buy some nice cloth and make myself the finest dress and even a fine hat to go with my dress, so that I will be the best dressed maid at the fair. And when I'm there, all of the young men will come up to me and try to get my attention. And I'll wave and smile and nod my head at them just like this. Uh-oh. And with that, the milkmaid, who had been so busy daydreaming about what was going to happen, she tilted her head and forgot that the bucket of milk was up there, and it spilled all over the ground. And that was it for her plans. And do you know what the moral of that story is? Remember, a moral is a lesson that you learned from a story. It's don't count your chickens before they hatch. Okay, let's do a finger play about some eggs that do hatch. 5 eggs and 5 eggs, that makes 10. And sitting on top is Mother Hen. Crack, crack, crack. What do I see? 10 fluffy chicks, yellow as can be. Let's do that one more time. 5 eggs and 5 eggs, that makes 10. Sitting on top is Mother Hen. Crack, crack, crack. What do I see? 10 fluffy chicks, as yellow as can be. Okay, so you know how I said it's a new year and we're going to try new things? We're going to have a brand new story No one's ever heard this story before. It's just new, just for you, all right? And we're going to call it Gingerlocks. Gingerlocks and the Three Little Pigs. Now you're thinking, that sounds an awful lot like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, but I'm telling you this is an entirely different story, okay? So here we go. Once upon a time, there was a little girl who had such lovely ginger curls that bounced when she walked, and everyone called her Gingerlocks. Well, Gingerlocks was taking a walk out in the woods when she was suddenly surprised when she stumbled upon 3 houses. Not just one, 3 houses. And there was nobody in them. She thought, perhaps the people who lived here must have gone out for a walk. They won't mind if I take a peek. Such cute, dear little houses. I can't help myself. I need to see them. And so first she walked to a little house to the side that seemed to be made completely of straw. Like, hey! She'd never seen a house made of straw before. And she peeked her head in and looked around. There was nobody there. So she let herself in the door, which was unlocked, and started to make herself at home. But the more she sat there, the more she realized, hey, straw is pretty itchy. She said, this house is too itchy. And so she left. Next, she went to a little house nearby that seemed to be made of sticks. Well, sticks aren't very itchy, and they looked so pretty, nice, warm brown, that she decided this might be a better house. And she let herself in. There was nobody there in that one either. And she looked at all the cute little furniture that was made of sticks, the tables, the beds, the chairs. But the only problem was sticks are kind of hard to get close together for walls. And this house had a lot of wind blowing right through it. She said, this house is too drafty. I can't stay here. So out she went. And she went up to a third little house, which looked like it was made completely out of... How did you know I was going to say bricks? Well, she knocked and no one was at home, so she let herself in. And this house was so well built, so strong and sturdy. Certainly there were no drafts blowing through these walls, and it wasn't itchy at all. Everything was very well made. She sat on a fine, sturdy bed in the middle of the brick house, and she felt so comfortable and sort of tired from letting herself into all sorts of houses that didn't belong to her, that before she knew it, she was drifting off to sleep. And she took quite a long little nap. She wasn't sure how much time had passed when suddenly she woke to the sound of voices. 3 squeaky little voices coming from the other side of the house. 3 squeaky voices that sounded like they belonged to some kind of animal, and they did not sound happy. She peeked her head out from under the blanket and saw there were 3 pigs standing there, waving their hands at each other in a complete fright. One of them said, he came right up to my front door, and he huffed, and he puffed, and he blew, and hay just went everywhere, and now I have no more house. And the second little pig said, I know, the same thing happened to me. He came to my door and huffed and puffed, and all the sticks went everywhere, and look, they've scratched me up. I have splinters now. I don't know what to do. And the third pig said, you can stay here. I see him out the window. He's huffing and puffing, but there's no way he could ever blow down this brick house. And the other pig said, well, that's all fine and good. I'm sure that it's wonderful to live in a house that a wolf can't blow down. But how are we ever going to leave? We're going to be stuck here forever and ever and ever. They started to cry. And if there was one thing that Gingerlocks couldn't handle, it was seeing people sad and crying. And she popped right out from that bed and said, "Don't cry." Well, all three little pigs jumped. They didn't know that anyone else was in that house. But they saw that she was not a wolf, that she was just a little girl. And they settled down. And they said, "Of course we are going to cry. We're trapped in a house by a wolf. And now you're trapped here too. So I don't know why you should be telling us to calm down. You should be panicking like we are." And Gingerlock sighed, because it was true. There was a wolf that she could see out that window, and he didn't look like he was going to be leaving anytime soon. But she thought to herself, I got myself into this mess. I can get myself out. And she said, maybe I can help. And the pigs said, what could you do? And she said, well, I really shouldn't have let myself into this house without permission. I know that now. I know that that wasn't the right thing to do. And maybe I can make it better by getting the wolf to go away. And she started to walk toward the door, and the pigs said, no, don't go out there. He'll eat you. He'll eat you. And she said, he might try, but this is something that I have to do. And so she crept out the door as quietly as she could. The wolf didn't even see her at first. He was staring at the wall, thinking. He was trying to come up with a way that he could climb the wall and come down the chimney to get to the pigs. Gingerlocks watched him. And then she said, Mr. Wolf? And he jumped. He was startled too. She said, I don't think that's a very good idea. If you go down that chimney, you're going to get burned up in the fire that they have going in there. And the wolf said, you're right. I guess I'm going to have to give up on my plan for today. Thank you for letting me know that. Maybe I'll have little girl instead. And Gingerlocks said, no, I don't think you should do that either. And the wolf said, why on earth shouldn't I? And she said, you're not really good at planning ahead, are you? If you eat me, my father, who is a woodcutter, will miss me, and he will come looking for me. And when he finds you instead, you'll be very, very sorry. His axe is very sharp, and he will chop you up to see if he can find me. The wolf said, that's a very, very good point. Perhaps I should look for a little girl whose father does not have sharp axes around. And she said, you could do that, though I think it might take you a while. Or you could look over in those woods right there. I can see a path going through them. And if you walk along that path and then just step off and wander into the woods a little way off the path, I bet you could find some lovely green lettuces and maybe some carrots and some other wild berries and things. And you could make yourself a very healthy and nutritious meal that doesn't involve chasing or catching or eating anyone. And the wolf was not thrilled with that, because wolves aren't really known for being vegetarians. But one plan had not worked today. It looked like his second plan wasn't going to work either. And it was better to have something than to go completely hungry. So he thanked her for pointing out the plants, and he left. And Gingerlocks waved in the window at the little pigs, who waved back. She didn't go back in because it wasn't her house. And she went back home to her family, and everybody had a good dinner. The end. Okay, we're going to sing Six Little Ducks. Can you show me 6 fingers? I'm going to try to play and do the fingers at the same time. We'll see how well that goes. You start. You show me the 6 fingers, all right? 6 little ducks went out one day over the fields and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 but only 5 little ducks came back. 5 little ducks went out one day over the fields and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 quack. But only 4 little ducks came back. 4 little ducks went out one day, over the hills and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 quack. But only 3 little ducks came back. 3 little ducks went out one day, over the fields and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 quack. But only 2 little ducks came back. 2 little ducks went out one day, over the fields and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 quack. But only 1 little duck came back. 1 little duck went out one day, over the fields and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 quack. But none of the 6 little ducks came back. Sad Mama duck went out one day, over the fields and far away. Mama duck said quack, 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 quack. And all of the 6 little ducks came back. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I hope that you enjoyed our stories and our music, and I hope that you're making plans to be here again next week. And I think those are plans we can count on coming true, because I plan to be here too, and I can't wait. Until then, you could leave me a comment or send an email, or you could even go to the library's webpage and get the phone number and give us a call, because we miss hearing your little voices. We really, really do. So, for now, let's get a great big stretch. Can you stretch all the way up? Ooh. Reach for the ceiling and touch the floor. Stand up again. Let's do some more. Touch your head. And now your knees up to your shoulders. Like this, you see. You just roll them. Reach for the ceiling and touch the floor. That's all there is. There isn't any more. Bye-bye.